Alright, today's lesson is Unit 9, Lesson 9. Our learning target is I can add and subtract mixed numbers. Alright, so before we get started, let's just review what a mixed number is and what an improper fraction is. So, if I have a mixed number, then I have a whole number and a fraction. So, 2 1/5 is a mixed number. 4 7/8 is a mixed number. 5 1/4 is a mixed number. Okay. We also learned about improper fractions. An improper fraction is a number that has a higher, or a fraction that has a bigger number on top. So if I have 5 4ths, that's an improper fraction. If I had 15 halves, that's an improper fraction. 9/5 is an improper fraction. So anytime that you see that the top number is bigger than the bottom number, we know that's an improper fraction. We also learned how to change them from one to the other. So we can make an improper fraction into a mixed number, and we can make a mixed number into an improper fraction. So if I were changing 2 1/5 into an improper fraction, I know that I multiply and then I add. So I do 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11/5. Okay. I also learned how to do 12/5 to a mixed number. So I say, how many times does 5 go into 12? That's 2 times. 5 times 2 is 10. 12 minus 10 is 2/5. Okay, so I learned how to go back and forth between the two. That's what we did yesterday. Alright, next we're going to look at two fraction bars. So I have one fraction bar that shows 4/5, and I have another fraction bar that shows 3/5. So how many shaded parts does the first bar show? So just this first bar shows 4 shaded parts. How many does the second bar show? That shows 3 shaded parts. So what is the total shaded parts? 7. What's the fraction? So if they are fifths, we know 4/5 plus 3/5 equals 7/5. So my fraction is 7/5. Now we know that this is called an improper fraction. So when the numerator of a fraction is greater than the denominator, we have an improper fraction. Oops. Okay. Alright, let's look at another example, a subtraction one. So if I have 8/5 minus 4/5, how many fifths did we start with? So we're starting with 8, or 8/5. And I know that the bottom number is fifths because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts in one bar. Okay. We are subtracting 4/5. So we have 8/5 minus 4/5. So 8/5 minus 4/5 equals 8 minus 4 is 4/5. So the final fraction is 4/5. Alright, so, and this started with an improper fraction, but we ended up with a regular fraction. Alright, we're going to move to page 367 and practice adding with improper fractions, fractions that have a bigger number on top or a bigger numerator. So if I have 8/5 plus 3/5, I do 8, 9, 10, 11. My denominator stays the same, which is 5. 6/9 plus 12/9, I know 6 plus 12 is 18, and my denominator stays the same. Go ahead and complete 3 through 6, and then come back to the video. So 3 through 6, and then come back to the video. Alright, next we're going to look at adding mixed numbers. So if I have the number 3 4/7 plus 2 2/7, if I'm adding these two numbers, I'm going to add my fraction number first. So if I have 4/7 plus 2/7, it's just written differently, so it's written up and down. I'm going to add 4 and 2, which equals 6, and my denominator will stay the same, so I have 6/7. Then I add my whole numbers. 3 plus 2 is 5. So 3 4/7 plus 2 2/7 equals 5 6/7. Okay, let's look at another example. So if I have the numbers 4 1/8 plus 3 4/8, I add my fraction numbers together. So I have 1/8 plus 4/8. So 1 plus 4 is 5. My denominator stays the same, which is 8. Then I add my whole numbers. 4 plus 3 is 7. Now, these two problems both showed normal fractions. We didn't end up with any improper fractions. I'm going to show you one where we would have an improper fraction. So if I had 3 5/7, 3 5/7 plus 2 4/7. Let's look at this one. So if I have 5/7 plus 4/7, I know that's going to equal 9/7. Okay, so when I add these two numbers, I get 9/7. 9/7 is what we call an improper fraction. We worked with those yesterday. So I'm going to have to do some extra work on these ones, because 9/7 is actually equal to 1 2/7, because 7 goes into 9 one time. 7 times 1 is 7, so the difference between 7 and 9 is 2. So 9/7 is actually equal to 1 2/7. So I can't leave this as 5 9/7. I have to change that to the correct way. So 9/7 equals 1 2/7, then I'm actually going to get rid of that and do 5 plus 1 2/7, which equals 6 2/7. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate one more time. So if I have 4 3/4 plus 1 3/4, I'm going to add these first. So 3/4 plus 3/4 equals 6/4. This is improper. I cannot leave it as an improper fraction. So I need to convert 6/4 to a mixed number. 6/4 equals 4 goes into 6 one time. I have 2 left over, and my denominator stays the same. So I actually have 1 2/4 here. So I have 4 plus 1 is 5. I changed this to a mixed number, so now I have 5 plus 1 2/4. So 5 plus 1 equals 6 2/4. I'm going to do another example so we really understand. So if I have 2 4/8 plus 1 5/8. When I add these together, I get 9/8. This is improper. So I need to change it to a mixed number. So 9/8 equals 8 goes into 9 one time. I have 1 left over with a remainder of 8. 2 plus 1 is 3. So now I'm adding the right number. So I add 3 plus 1 1/8, which equals 4 1/8. That's my correct answer. I cannot leave it with an improper fraction. So if we go back to our page, we have 4 addition problems. So 2 3/5 plus 1 1/5. So 3/5 plus 1/5 is 4/5. 2 plus 1 is 3. This one does not have an improper fraction, so I can leave it. I'm all done. Number 8 has an improper fraction, so let's look at that one. 2/5 plus 4/5 equals 6/5. 1 plus 3 equals 4. This is improper. I need to change that. So I'm going to go up here. 6/5 equals 1, because 5 goes into 6 one time with 1 left over and 5. So now I do 4 plus 1 1/5, which equals 5 1/5. All right, go ahead and do 9 and 10. So you're going to have 9 and 10, and then also this top 4 that I'm going to check for a star. All right, as soon as you have your star, we're going to do 6 more examples on a scratch piece of paper. All right, so you have these 6 problems to do. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So pause the video, write these on your scratch piece of paper, raise your hand to get a star when you're finished. All right, next is homework. Today you are skipping 5 through 8. However, do not scribble them out. You're going to skip them, we'll do tomorrow. This is tomorrow's homework. So skip 5 through 8. And you can also skip 18 today. Okay, you need to do through 17. And we are going to do the even numbers on the back side. So you're doing 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and 18. Again, area for a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Perimeter, you add all sides. Okay, the height of this triangle is right here. This is your height. Okay, the straight up and down line is your height. When you find perimeter, you'll use the slanted side. As soon as you're finished today, make sure you're working on IXL. If you have questions, raise your hand.